Welcome everybody to our second day 2 of the Scrapbooking Fun Summit. We are excited to be here. This is our third live, so if you haven't catched the first 2 that we had today, cycle back. Catherine Poehler was our first one, who is our sponsor for today, so we want to thank Catherine Poehler for sponsoring. And then we just talked to Lisa Horton from the UK. We had a really fun conversation there. And now we are with Juliana Michaels. So thank you for attending. Tell us where you're from in the comments. And I am Heather Cameron, one of your summit hosts. I am the summit person. My day job or my other job is a business coach, helping people run summits and do stuff like this and really grow their businesses. And Tracy is the scrapbooker, and I'll let her introduce herself. She's up there for me.
Hi, I'm Tracy, Embellish Connection. As Heather, I don't even know what she said, but we're in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And yes, I like to say I carry everything except for what you're looking for in stock, basically, because there's so many products to have. But I love to find different products, and depending whether it's what's in, but also going, hey, nobody else has this. I want to bring that in, So yeah, that's kind of what I do. A little short form.
If we are cutting in and out a bit, we're getting a bit of connection changes. I don't know who. Tracy froze that time for me. Juliana, are you still there?
I'm here.
Yep, she's still there. Yep. You were sitting very still, and I'm like, is she frozen or is she? So if we do, just bear with us. We'll come back a second later. It seems to be clearing up. So I'm going to shut down some windows too. I am waiting. Juliana, where are you from in the world?
I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area of Pittsburgh. So yeah.
Excellent. And
your company is 17 Turtles.
17 Turtles.
Go on. I'm curious about that.
Oh, well, okay. So I picked that name years and years and years ago because I've been, I don't know, blogging for a long, long time in paper crafting. And my birthday is on May 17th, which is where the 17 comes from. And turtles, when I was in college, somewhere along the lines, turtles were a thing for me. And so that's kind of where the name came from. So
okay, I understand that.
Yeah. So
May 17th.
Yeah.
May 16th is very to me there. With my mother's and my daughter's birthday. So there you go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's a great month.
For me, Go ahead.
One question we're asking everyone is, how did you get started in paper crafting?
Oh my. Okay. So back in 1997, I had a coworker that introduced me to his girlfriend at the time and said, you have to meet her. She does this scrapbooking thing. And I think you all would get along. And we were introduced, and I was hooked immediately. So so pretty much since 97, I've been paper crafting some kind of way. So started off scrapbooking and transitioned to card making. I don't know. It's been quite a few years ago now at this point. And then I got into the mixed media stuff. And so now it's kind of a little combination of cards and mixed media and but anything with paper, I love it. So
nice. And that's the way to be, anything with paper. So what do you do most now? Do you do card making most, scrapbooking most?
Probably card making. I don't really scrapbook so much anymore. I've kind of dabbled back into it the last couple years off and on. I'll get oh, maybe I'll start it again. And I did a December daily one year, which was a super fun experience. But it was a lot of work. So yeah, I would say mostly the card making nowadays. So. And then also recently too, I guess I should say this, I've also kind of gotten into junk journaling. That's kind of been my latest paper crafting adventure. So
what is junk journaling for the novice in this world?
Okay, so at its core definition, it's basically taking any kind of paper or any ephemera of any kind that you might normally toss into the trash and kind of upcycle it into like an art journal, I guess you'd say. So you can, you you could create the journals, or you can buy pre-made journals and decorate the pages of them with those ephemera pieces, or, you know, it can be anything. I don't tend to do the upcycle part of it. I tend to use a lot of the Tim Holtz stuff that I've been hoarding over the years. So trying to like get through that and use it. So yeah. There's I mean, it's kind of anything, you can make it anything you want. Yeah.
Suzanne just shared that she just lost her friend named Turtle, nicknamed Turtle.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah. It's always tough.
It is tough, those things.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the project that you did, the debossing ink resist technique. There you go. I'm the novice here, so I can like, what do these words mean?
Okay.
I know I've seen projects so many times as I made all the graphics and things. So.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of kind of, I guess, a little bit of a mixed media technique, because you're kind of working with inks and different kinds of inks, embossing folders. You're working with different papers. So just that combination of different products kind of lends itself to being able to fall into that mixed media category. And basically what you're taking is an embossing folder and an embossing ink, and working and applying that ink to the folder, and then placing your paper inside the folder, running it through your die cutting machine, and that ink then is getting transferred onto the paper and kind of pressed into the paper. And then you apply embossing ink and emboss that with your heat gun, and then you apply different inks after everything's heat embossed to get the cool effect on the background. And that embossing ink then is a resist, because the ink can't penetrate through that once it's heat embossed. So the areas where that's on is going to stay white, and then where there's not any of the embossing powder, that's where your colored sprays and inks and stuff are going to color the paper. So, and create that effect on the background. So, yeah.
See, and I just find often when we look at anybody's cards or layout, it's like, wow, that looks really neat. But then when you hear all the details of how you got to that point, and people are like, oh my God, I would have never realized that. It's like, yeah, so it's good to hear like all the different steps that took you to make that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's interesting. I love the fact that you did cards that weren't necessarily Christmas, which was nice. Thank you for that, because it's
you're welcome.
Really our intention was not to be too Christmassy, because it's nice to make gifts and do other things. And so yeah, they're beautiful cards. And
Thank you.
Because I produced I put all the videos together with our intro, outro. I watched them all at some speed. And your technique was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Thank you.
See it together.
Yeah, I mean, the technique can be used with any kind of embossing folder. So if you wanted to use these for Christmas cards, the technique sounds complicated, but it really doesn't take that long. And I mean, I'm showing it 3 different ways, but you know, if you were just doing one Christmas card, taking one Christmas embossing folder and some Christmas dies and stamps, and you know, you could make it pretty easily into a Christmas card and mass produce it. So
see, and that's exactly what I try to tell people too. Like, you might see something or watch a video or whatever it might be, and then just get the concept and then use it however you wish, right? Because some people say, oh, it's only cards, or it's only scrapbooking here. It's like, no, get the concept, and then you can use it on whatever you're working with, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne asked, what's your favorite technique to use?
I know, I just saw that. Oh goodness. I don't know if I have a favorite. I go through phases where like I'm just absolutely loving certain things.
What phase are you in right now?
Lately, I've been in this taking like colored cardstock that has a core so it's not a solid core cardstock. So it's a cardstock that either has like a white core or a craft colored core or whatever, and the color is printed on the outsides of it, and then die cutting it, and then taking like a piece of sandpaper and lightly sanding over it, and then that takes off that top color and reveals the color that's underneath. And it's just a really easy way to distress and grunge stuff up a little bit, if that's a style you like. And yeah, so it's my latest thing I've been having fun with. It's very, very simple, and I love doing it. So.
And that's cool. What I'm learning is, because I'm the novice, is doesn't have to be hard, right? It just can be trying something, doing an experiment.
Yeah.
And we were talking yesterday about being perfect, and you don't have to be perfect. You just got to try this stuff and experiment and have fun.
Exactly. Sometimes the surprise comes with the experimenting, that, it doesn't work out, and doesn't work out with smear quotes, it does work out, and you got something that's cool. So I always encourage people to play and try it and see how it goes. Yeah.
For junk journaling, I will have to cut some of the pretty paper I've been hoarding because it's too
Yes.
pretty.
Yes, that is a perfect excuse to use up all those papers that we all like to hoard, for sure.
It also sounds like a good way, like the junk journaling, to use up those scraps that you don't want to get rid of too, right? You're like, yeah, you've used part of that, whatever it might be, the paper, but then you have that other piece going, I still can't get rid of it because I know what it feels like.
Yeah, and it's a great way to do a lot of things. I mean, it's a great way to, just take a page in your junk journal and try a technique that you've never tried before. And so what if it doesn't turn out exactly how you wanted? You've got another page you can go to and try it again, or try something different. And for me, yeah, it's just kind of a way to, gives me an excuse to use all the things and do all the things. So.
And that's very attuned to. So I have them, because I'm trying to learn how to watercolor. So I have like my watercolor sketchbook, and that's the intention, is that nothing in here has to be serious, or there's some really unperfect stuff in here, right? And that's the same idea, I guess, is just experiment and have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense to me.
Normal. Yeah. It's just, then you go, yeah, I like this technique, or yeah, this one, it's not for me, right? You get some of your answers that way, I find too.
And Teresa's just brilliant. Just keep playing and your technique gets better. And that's so true, right? That's absolutely true with anything. And when you pick up, I think, because a lot of what you use can be cut, but taking and trying to do watercolor painting, I know my stuff is not going to be perfect the first time, or the second, or the 100th time. So it's just learning the techniques and trying it. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
How would you use your technique? And maybe it's an obvious answer, but nothing's obvious to me as a user, is how would you use the technique you talked about in scrapbooking?
Well, I think you could take, because like I'll do this on like a card base, so I think you could totally do this with cardstock and on a scrapbook page, is to still take, cut the paper, whether you're using, just cutting a straight edge, or you're using like punches to create a decorative border, or your Cricut to cut a decorative border. And then you could sand that with the sandpaper to give that little bit of a distress style to your scrapbook page. You can do that with any die cuts, or like your titles that you cut out with your Cricut, or Silhouette, or whatever you use to cut out your scrapbook page titles. You could do that technique on those.
You just and the technique, several things too. Like I like just for your border, you're just like, yeah, you can cut it. You can use your Cricut, your punches. And I was like, until you go.
The mats on the photos, I mean, you could, for sure.
Excellent.
Any paper you're using, you could do that technique too. As long as it has that white core and it's not a solid cardstock. It won't work with a solid cardstock. But if you have a cardstock or paper that is white in the center of it, so like if you sand off, or if you tear the paper, you can see whether it's white inside. That's, but yeah.
Excellent. What do you do when you're not crafting?
Well, that actually is kind of my job now. I kind of work pretty much full-time crafting. Prior to this, I'm a retired physical therapist. I was a physical therapist for 20 years. And then I did graphic design in the paper crafting industry for about 5 or 6 years. And and then just recently kind of moved on from that to just focus on creating content and teaching. So.
It's always interesting to see the journey of people too, how they get to where they are now.
Yeah.
Are there certain brands? Like I have a feeling Timmy, I say Timmy as if, we're all best friends with him. He's a favorite because I see things in the background. I've seen some of your videos and that,
Yeah.
but go ahead. What other, what brands?
Yeah, I would
work with?
say Tim Holtz is probably numero uno. But there's a lot of other brands I love. 49 and Market. I love Elizabeth Craft Designs has kind of been a new favorite of mine recently. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to. I kind of try to limit too many brands because I'm very much of a how do you want to I declutter very frequently. So I really try to just limit the brands because otherwise I get too many things and I don't have time to play with all the things and then I kind of gets frustrating, and I think we've all been or are in that cycle. And yeah, so over the years I've tried to kind of hone it down onto the ones that really, really on a real regular basis speak to me with their product releases, so that I don't feel so overwhelmed with products.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yes, I think what I've learned through this process of doing these scrapbooking fun summits with Tracy is that there's a lot of options for you.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, lots of options, and depending on what kind of style you prefer or what speaks to you, there's something out there for everyone. So yeah.
And just that you mentioned the decluttering, I mean, that's important for us too, I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because of course we always like everything, but then it's like sometimes, because I know the feeling, it's you go, look, I've got, say, this pad of whatever it might be. Maybe it's 40, graphic 45. And you go, what sheets will I really use? Keep them and then get rid of the rest. Give them to a friend or give them to, I contact, I've got some daycares and some, they're not called this anymore, but brownies, Girl Guides, anybody, and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Have the paper, or whatever it might be, because it's better just to get rid of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's your excuse to buy new things.
Yeah.
But again, because we like a lot of the new things that come out, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay to get rid of some of the stuff, people, is all I'm saying. It's good to get rid of things.
I agree. Yeah. I pretty much whatever the space I have, the storage units I have, I really try to stick with the space I have and not keep expanding out. So yeah, I purge very, very regularly, probably about every 6 months or so.
Okay.
It does look very organized behind you.
I have
so
to. I'm kind of little. Yeah.
I can't. My space would never be that organized, but that's okay because I'm okay with
it. If it's too messy, my brain shuts off. So I've learned I have to I clean as I go. Like if I'm in the middle of a project, it's a disaster for me. It might not be a disaster for most people, but as soon as I'm finished, I clean up, put everything back where it goes, and then I start on the next project. So yeah.
I'm curious for those listening live. Are you organized or not organized? Are you in Julia's camp or my camp?
Yeah.
Mr. Kraft says she used to donate. What did she say? I used to donate my daughter's Girl Guides to Girl Guides as well. I get to the point they asked me to stop for a while. You donated too much. There you go. Yeah, which are you guys in, the organized camp or the not organized? Not organized, Stephanie.
I think we all. I think it's to me that is just something that's very personal to people.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I just find that my creativity gets limited and impaired when I have too much clutter going on. So,
Tracy, are you the organized camp or the not organized
camp?
I'm
a very messy scrapper. Like while I'm doing it, as Juliana kind of said, but I'm probably messier than you. I'm like, I go into this little area and I do my stuff, but I got stuff all around me. Okay.
Totally.
But yes, I do get rid of stuff on a regular basis. I do, because it's like, that's enough. Because honestly, after this summit, that's one of my things to do. Usually December, it's like, okay, clean out that basement area. It's Yeah.
So we have both camps. We have people who are in both camps. We have people who try, not organized, so all over the camp. I started off organized, and then it becomes chaos once I start
Yeah,
crafting.
I think that's pretty normal.
And
And
I
that's
hear
the
it
cool
from a
part.
lot of clients or certain friends. I can hear them right now going, "You told me to get rid of stuff, and now I need it." I'm like, okay, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's you got to get rid of things here and
you
there.
do. It's tough. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I got rid of, because like tools are a big thing to like, you
Mhm.
know, justify getting rid of. Well, I made the mistake of getting rid of a crocodile one time, and then, you
Okay.
know, hadn't used it for years. And then, you know, all of a sudden it was like I needed it for something and I had to go buy a new one because I so put myself in the behind a little bit on that one. But you know, you live and learn. So
Keep your
Mhm.
tools.
yes,
Yes.
keep your tools. I think that was probably the biggest lesson I learned there. Don't get rid of the tools. Hold on to them because
They usually go up in price the most too.
they
Of all the
do.
things
They
that are
do. And a lot of those tools kind of come back around, you know. So
Okay, here's a weird
yeah.
question. You never know what topic we'll get on. So you're talking about the crocodile because I've got crocodile, right? But I still can't get rid of, and this is something that's been in my mind going, get rid of it, Trace, where you've got, the old making memories to do the brads, like the hammer set,
Yes.
right? And I'm like, get rid of it. You haven't touched it because you've got the crocodile.
Yeah.
But see, I can't get rid of everything either. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm stuck with that set.
That's a tough one, but at the same time, like I wish I still had mine of that because I got rid of that too, and I really wish I kept it because sometimes that crocodile just doesn't get where you want it. Can't quite reach all the
Oh,
way in
God.
there. So even the long reach one. So yeah. So
Someone asked, what are your need to have tools?
oh, okay. I love die cutting, so I have to have a die cutting machine, whether it's electric or manual. I don't really care. I just need a die cutting machine. And I would say a heat gun and a Misty stamping platform. Those like probably, yeah. If I had to pick three big tools, those would be my yeah.
Your big tools.
And a paper trimmer. And a paper trimmer. A good paper trimmer. Yeah. Just looked up and I'm like, oh, paper trimmer.
Tracy, they're all saying don't get rid of it.
I've
No,
seen
keep it.
this.
Keep the tools.
Keep the tools.
I think it's just because it's so nostalgic almost,
That you'll love it, as Mrs. Crispat says, you use it in a pinch, so you'll love it. So
Yep,
keep that.
exactly. Keep it.
The public has voted. Do not throw out your
I
tools.
Mhm.
fine.
Yep.
Don't throw
Oh,
them
well.
out. Excellent. Anybody online, excuse me, have any questions for Michelle? Michelle, sorry, not Michelle. Sorry, Juliana.
Okay.
There you go. Don't know where that came. I'm just remembering, and what is your free gift so that we don't forget to cover that?
Oh yeah.
You have free card sketches and inspirational guide.
Yeah, just it's a card sketches. I think 4 sketches in there, I think. And then along with the sketches, I also have like card samples or examples to go with the sketch, and then links to the videos or blog posts that would have like instructions on how I created that card. So it's more than just sketches actually. So yeah.
Excellent. And Julia has also contributed to our VIP bundle. If you were on earlier, there's some great discount codes in our VIP bundle. There's also some wonderful additions, and I'm going to try and read this one. A translucent texture and layer with distressed products, a mixed media Christmas card class. So she's contributed a class. So if you are a VIP, make sure you access the bundle. Some are time sensitive and some aren't, but make sure you do look at it and watch them. If you aren't a VIP, really take a look at it. There's over $1,000 worth of products and discount codes in there that, for the price of the VIP, you go use one of them and you really are saving some money and doing some, particularly the store discounts that we have, and then the opportunity to see these great classes that people are offering. So make sure you check that out. And thank you for contributing to both.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The crocodile can't always reach. That's what you said. I clean as I go. So let's see here. I have 2 children. She cleans as she goes, and she has 2 children. And I let them use my old tools to teach them how to use the most modern ones. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Your daughter's a little old for that, Tracy.
I
but
know. I'm gonna have to wait for grandkids.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my grandkid maybe pile.
There you go.
Here's a good
Oh,
question
wow.
for both of you, Tracy. Any advice for those of us decluttering and not very organized?
Mhm.
Well, to me, it's like I said, you go through your stuff going, how long have I had this?
Mhm.
Did I ever touch it?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
So it's either to me, it's like you almost sense it going, yeah, I haven't touched it in 5 years. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because whether it's paper, it's easier to me sometimes with some of the stuff to get rid of than when it's a tool, you go, okay, well, I really use it.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, like it's okay to and it is okay to get rid of things because then you can put a smile on somebody else's face.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
That's a big thing. There's, geez, I'm just trying to think if you have anything else. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Juliana.
I actually have.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Heather.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I always feel kind of good knowing it's getting a new home, that it's gonna get the love it hasn't gotten from me. So, and a lot of times too, like I'll put together my stuff in a box, and that box kind of sits there then for a little bit longer. And then once that, and I kind of give myself time, like I would say, and I said 6 months earlier, it might be more frequently than that I'll just go through, like if I get something new in, a lot of times I kind of go through where that's going to go. Is there anything in that bin that I haven't used that needs to, kind of move on? And then I kind of have a box that's like the donate box, and that will sit there a little bit until I'm ready to take it to wherever it's going to go. And every now and then I do go back in there and grab something out, but not very often. And so that kind of a system works for me too. Just kind of give you that. But you do need to give. I do think you need to give yourself some kind of like timelines to like say, okay, no, it's time to go.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I've done, like you said, because maybe I haven't even purposely left the box, but I just haven't done anything with it. And then when it's time, I'm like, I'll open it going, because, I don't open up my clothes box. I won't open up other things that I'm getting rid of. But it's like, no, I said, you know what? I look at it going, yeah, I don't need this stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody else have a good day with it.
Because I think for some reason, like, it seems easier to do clothing for some reason because, you've worn it out or whatever. And the paper, the stamps, you haven't used at all. And like that, I think is the hardest part for people to feel like, well, I spent this money on it and I haven't used it.
And especially if you find a place or that, whether it's, I don't know, I'm going to say like a church or anybody that helps others who don't have the money. And then they're just like, wow, like, thank you, because that's a good thing. And then there was once too, I remember I just donated, again, it was a whole bunch of scraps and just, little leftover stickers from a sheet. And then one day I look in my mailbox and I had a card from the kids, like the mom who picked it, the kids made a card for me with it. And I was like, oh, don't make me cry, So it was great that way, right? You just go, yeah, you guys deserve the stuff.
So I was going to say one that leads into this too is that, like, I love what you guys say. It's not about getting rid of it; it's rehoming it.
Yes,
like that's the word Tracy just used, and I think that can help you too. Because when you think I'm getting rid of it, it's got that sense of throwing it out and doing that. But
that's true.
Rehoming it and gifting it is a great way to kind of help you.
I don't throw any of it away. I find it another home. Just there, and this is sometimes. Even if you've got I've got some friends of mine that actually they know people that know people, so sometimes it's just even reaching out to some friends of yours that maybe craft or don't craft that might know groups that would be interested in it. So
yes,
exactly. Yeah. And this question, what kind of system, leads into what I was going to say for the last one, is find your own system. Don't try to do somebody else's system because it never works. I can say that for any part of work that I do in life, is that we sometimes feel pressured to use somebody else's system, but if you can find what you want, and it's easy for you to do it, then that's a great system to use, right? So I think there's such a pressure we put on ourselves to find the system. And in all honesty, it's the system that works best for you.
Yeah, mine constantly changes. I mean, it helps that I kind of limit the brands. And but I do, and I kind of sort things by the type of thing it is. So like I have my stamps together and I have my dies together. And then I have, if there's things that are like stamps and dies that go together that are coordinating, like those go, are together. And then I kind of, from there, I just kind of organize it by like holidays or very broad themes. So like if they've got, flowers and butterflies and outdoor naturey stuff, they all go together. And if they're kind of more, masculine or steampunk or industrial or whatever, those might go in one section. You've got, animals on it, they might go in another section. So, but I'm constantly changing up.
And it does take time.
It does.
It takes time to do all this work too, but it's worth it.
It is, because it helps me, so I know what I have, and then I can get to it easier and more likely to use it. I like to keep new stuff out so I can see it. So,
and there was years ago, because my daughter is 28, but years ago, which was at home, and that I remember once she just had all these pens, and I actually told her, I said, look, you have to get rid of a lot of these. You've got to get, there's just way too many. And I said, you're no longer allowed to buy any. Okay. So it was like, that was kind of a thing. We were just chatting. We weren't arguing for once. And it was like, yeah, you're not allowed to buy any more pens. And then there was a time when I was in my own craft stuff and I went, yeah, maybe you should take your own advice. Because I looked through it was my Christmas stuff, the Christmas scrapbooking stuff. And I went, you're not allowed to buy any more, Trace. And it was for a while that I was like, I was cut off from that, because use what you have. I was allowed to buy some other things, but I wasn't allowed Christmas. And I looked at it going, nope, you're not allowed. Right. And so I even told my daughter, because she was like, we were on each other's cases. You can't buy that. Well, you can't buy that. I'm like, I know. But you have to just stop yourself sometimes, and now I'm finding I'm allowed to buy Christmas again. But I'm not allowed to buy, because now I'm like, what can't you buy now? And I'm limited on my travel stuff. I haven't been traveling and I've got tons of stuff. So I'm like, I have to stop yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an industry, a space, a crafting place of the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Really.
Especially when the new things come out. It's so hard.
And also, the FOMO, which is the fear of missing out.
Yep.
So for those who suffer the fear of missing out, there's actually a great way of turning this around, and it's called the joy of missing out.
Yes.
Right? Because, bringing more stuff into your house is not necessarily going to, as much as you don't want to miss out on it, it's to kind of replace that and say, with the joy of missing out is kind of to say, is it going to enhance my life? Or if I just let it go, am I still going to stay in the pace of peace, which is kind of what you're saying, Tracy, of not allowing any more travel stuff in your house, right?
Yeah. And
say,
that. It's like, I just, like, for example, my latest thing with like the Tim Holtz Christmas stuff, when it was released, I made myself go through my bin, because I have all my Christmas stuff like organized in a bin I don't use Christmas in the middle of the year kind of thing. So have that separated out. I went through it all and I was like, okay, you cannot buy any more paper dolls. You do not need any more paper. You have plenty of all the, certain things that I had like lots of. And I was like, so I actually did it. I'm very proud of myself.
Well,
That's easy. I mean, there's so much out there for you to buy and to spend money on, and there's so many things that you can get stuck in that.
If you can sit down and like go through what you have already, you may have some treasures in there that like you forgot you had, and
And then I just thought of something else. Sorry, because too, when I do clean up, when I'm saying I'm getting rid of stuff and I give it away, yes, I do. But at first I will go through them saying, oh, I know exactly whether it's, sometimes I've got, friends who'll use it, who love it, or a client. Sometimes I'm like, they get a surprise in their bag. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, I know that's you. And she's like, yeah, I love it. I'm like, well, use it, So again, you feel good that way. So you can do, if you have friends in the same, who do the same hobbies, you can do like some exchanges there. And at least then you go, let's say I gave away my hammer tool there. I can maybe still borrow it if I need it.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But we don't want to discourage you from buying completely.
No.
Tracy still needs to have
No,
customers,
no,
and other
no.
people still need to have
Yeah,
customers.
I still bought some stuff. I just didn't buy all the things. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
And that's really the key.
Yep,
So
exactly.
excellent.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Juliana in the comments? I hope you guys have had a chance to, if you're VIP, you have access to the videos for at least a year. If you're listening to the replay and you have any questions or you put any questions in the Facebook, we'll all cycle back for that. What we would love to see, we forgot to mention this earlier, is if you're doing projects and you've done anything. I know I saw some posts yesterday from, I haven't been in the Facebook group yet today, people actually doing the projects and doing the cards and using the techniques. I mean, that's,
Love to see that.
yeah. It's the best feedback for our speakers,
For sure.
is to have and see that and do that. So they really love to see this and see their projects done. And I haven't been in the group to see if any, I know some were done last night, but I haven't been. Some people are so fast.
Yeah.
It's like you get off and it's done. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So we would love to see your creations that you're doing, even if you take the technique that she shared and you use it in a completely different way.
Yes.
That's just as great
Yes.
too. So please share. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back in, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes with Annie Kelly. And then we have Miss Carrie at 4 p.m. and Tracy at 5 p.m. She gets to become the guest instead of the host at 5 p.m.
I haven't spoken enough, eh?
Exactly. So thank you so much for participating in the summit, for bringing your energy and your love of this craft to us. And for everyone, we will be back. And thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks.
Bye.